Welcome back. Journalist Jason Rezaian spent 544 days unjustly imprisoned in Iran before being released January 2016. We talked with him because he has a unique experience and perspective on Iran, the U.S., and possibly their combined future. Listen. You have, Jason, painful lived experience with the Iranian regime, but you also know the place and you know the people. Peer into this moment for me, would you?
Major, it's a devastating time inside Iran over the last several weeks. Thousands, potentially tens of thousands of people were massacred in the streets of Iran for uh, protesting for very basic things. They've been not denied their right to expression, their civil liberties. It's a repressive regime that's ruled over that country for 47 years, but even they have not meted out the kind of violence that they did just a month or so ago. And I think the folks inside Iran are stuck, as always, between a very uh, hard rock and a harder place. The reality is, I don't think they have a lot of friends in the world at this point, certainly not within their own leadership. Israel unleashed a war last summer on Iran over a 12-day period that the United States joined into. I know that there are a lot of people inside Iran calling for direct intervention into the affairs of that country, but I don't think anybody is looking for military strikes, especially not on civilian areas. So I think it's a really tough situation right now, and I want to remind listeners, viewers that 6 Americans at least are currently being detained in Iran, held hostage, wrongfully detained, just like I was a decade or so ago. So this is much bigger than the current moment. It's part of a long history uh, of antagonism between the United States and Iran. And as always, the Iranian people are paying the price.
What do you think the risks are, particularly to those Americans in wrongful detention in Iran, should there be another wave of strikes?
Well, last summer, Evin prison, where I and all of these current hostages are being held, was struck by Israeli missiles. Uh, Several people inside the prison were killed. Presumably, prison officials were being targeted, but innocent civilians and defenseless prisoners were killed as well. I also want to point out that in addition to Americans, 2 British nationals, a husband and wife, travel bloggers, were convicted last week on completely bogus um, espionage charges, and a journalism colleague of yours and mine, the bureau chief of NHK, a Japanese national broadcaster, has been languishing in that same prison for over a month. That news just broke last evening, and look, it certainly feels like they're collecting human shields.
The president said in the State of the Union address 32,000 Iranians were killed by the regime. Does that number sound correct to you?
Impossible to know because there aren't any independent trackers inside the country. Human rights organizations take very seriously the work of verifying the cases, and I think it's about 7,000 so far that have already been documented, but there are certainly many more. And I think that the precise number, whatever it is shocking and beyond the pale. So I do think that there is a role for the United States and the international community to play, not only in condemning the killing of peaceful protesters, but also holding Iranian leadership accountable. I would just urge that they find a way to do it that doesn't put more Iranians' lives in harm's way.
There's no way to know the absolute answer to this question, Jason. But what do you think might unfold if the regime fell?
I've thought about that for many years. I've been covering Iran for 25 years, Major. I've traveled to that country starting in 2001, spent much of my time between 2001 and 2014 living and working in Iran. And the question of what would come next has been on people's minds and lips for a very long time. Unfortunately, I don't think that there is a credible replacement at this point That's not to say that we want to see the Islamic Republic survive the current moment. They've made it very clear that they have nothing to offer the people of this country. But unfortunately, over a 47-year period, we have a diaspora that is incredibly educated, incredibly high income, one of the most connected diasporas in the world, and yet we haven't been able to organize politically in this country. And I see rumblings of that right now. But what I hope not to see happen in Iran is the country to devolve into any sort of civil strife.
Right.
You have a country of 90 million people with a lot of different ethnic backgrounds, religious backgrounds, and allegiances. And the worst thing that could happen is a civil war in that country.
Jason, I appreciate the time as always. Thank you.
Thanks, Major.